All right. Hey, everybody. Freedom.
Freedom.
Welcome back to the Black Flag Media Studio. And we're just, before we start, well, we are actually kind of filming, but before we started, I was trying to think, when was the last time? It's been a little while, but what did we even talk about? I can't remember, but anyway.
There's so many things.
We'll have to go back and look, but whatever.
Plus you're really busy. Actually, I kind of went back. The last 2 months has easily been the busiest time of patrols we've ever had. I mean, there was 1 week where we...
Because there's so many tyrants.
Yeah, there's so many tyrants, I know. There was 1 week there, day or night, but if I just said missions, there was 1 week that we wrote 6 days in that 1 week. If I'm including our regular rallies.
Right.
But we did like almost, and then like a streak of 21 days. We were busy 15 of the 21.
Yeah, we were busy because there's a lot of tyrants, and there's a lot of tyranny going on. Yeah. Not only in Canada, of course, but all around the world, and
corruption,
and horrificness. So to kind of catch up on what we've been doing, I was in Ottawa for a little bit, and just like a day and a half for Pat King's, the first day of Pat King's trial.
That's right.
And, I would suggest that we as freedom lovers, as the freedom movement, that we keep an eye on that trial. And, each person that stands up for freedom is an important member.
Yeah.
So now, Right Blend, formerly known as Patriot Smoothie, Right Blend, he is live tweeting the proceeding in court. It's quite amazing. So he's putting that on X. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video. But he's sitting with his laptop, because I was sitting in front of him and kind of watching him, and I've seen it, coming through. And he's typing away what they're saying. Judge says this, Brown says that, defense saying this. It's quite amazing, not only that he's capable of doing that, but honestly, even hearing what they're saying is a challenge. And the judge is quite quiet. The Crown's fairly, the Crown and the defense are fairly audible, but the judge is quite quiet. So hats off to you, Jonathan Right Blend, for doing that. And it's very important. Of course, Jason Levine is doing his report on it as well on the Levine Show, so check that out. And before we get too far into anything, our thoughts, our well wishes, our way to go to Chris Dacey.
Yes.
Taking it for the team. Holy cow.
For the team.
That's something else. And good for you, Jonathan and Robert Krayden, of handling all that and getting him out of that predicament. And, if no one knows we won't go into that whole story because it's not mine to tell, but if you go on to Chris Dacey or to Right Blends or probably even Robert Krayden's, you'll hear the story about what happened with Chris Dacey.
And it's just something that all of us will have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Because there is, and you can see it. They're forcing down. They want chaos in the streets.
For sure.
They want chaos in the streets.
Yeah.
So
the first time I really noticed that was, when was the first time? And I saw, when I was in Ottawa, and that LGBT group were there, and they were, they weren't just that group. There was this other contingency to it. They were masked up. They were carrying banners. Yeah. They were hateful. They were violent. And I thought, oh, that's strange. That's weird. And then I saw it again, certainly with the Free Palestine people. Yeah. That it wasn't just Palestinians that are kind of fighting for their homeland. It was more what I call Antifa. Yeah. Now we're getting these Antifas. We've spoken about this before, so we don't want to really get into that either, but too much. But we're seeing this contingency of what I call Antifa that are violent. I watched Abby's from Australia Rebel News report, and holy mackerel, they're really strong down there. Yeah. And this is, anyway, that's another story. But Chris Stacey really, like in this circumstance that he ran into the other day, really was Antifa coming after him.
It was Black Bloc by then.
Black Bloc.
Yeah.
And so go check out Chris's pages, and you'll find the story about that. But I just wanted to say, hey, Chris, thinking about you and hoping you are well, of course, and just keep up the good work. So I did that, and you're running around after the tyrants, and
Yes.
And now, do we want to jump right into our time at Royal York, or is there something you want to fill in before that happened?
Oh no, let's just
Okay.
Yeah,
So Derek and I went to the Royal York last
Tuesday.
Last Tuesday, and as paid participants, guests, whatever, to the Empire Club of Canada, they were holding a luncheon to talk about the C-63 No Harms Act bill that Virani has tabled and is going around town, telling us all how great it is. So we went there, and it was a lunch, and we sat there. And what was really interesting, like before he came on, was the two guys that we met there at the same table that we were at. One was from a strategy company, ClearPath strategy company in Canada, and the other guy was from YouTube. And I thought, so we were able to actually speak freely, which was very nice. And so we listened. Well, there's a lot that went on there, but the one woman, and I'm forgetting her name, but she was from Meta.
Yes.
And I found that very peculiar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they actually hosted the event. Well, no, I shouldn't say hosted it.
Sponsors.
They were the sponsors, which is unique. So.
Yeah, that I found very strange. So then Reef gets up and he's telling us all about how great C-63 is, which many of you know that I, Derek, and many of us, many people across Canada have said how horrible it is, how dangerous it is if it passes, and including, who I watched a podcast, Jordan Peterson and Bruce Pardy had a conversation about it, so that's worth watching. I'll link that in the description. Mm-hmm. But who's I really liked, twice he did, Viva Frei.
Yes. Yeah, he's talked about it a few times, actually.
So he did talk about it at the Canada Strong and Free Network thing in Ottawa, a month or so ago, and that was really good. But then you saw him live.
I saw him live
at the Rebel News event.
At the Rebel News event. When was that last week? No, I can't remember how time I saw that. Yeah, so no, and the first day, the Friday, was really concentrated on this bill C-63. So he did, like I said this in the other time before, how dangerous this bill is. But it is, they don't need the Emergency Act with this bill. No. They won't. Now, it was funny, like going back, we were sitting on that table, so the ClearPath, this guy's a lobbyist, and he's worked on behalf of all the social media outlets before. And he even agreed with me, he goes, they think this is going to pass, just the way the government is, and then there's going to be martyrs that would have to basically take it all the way up to the Supreme Court, how much money that's going to spend to change the law. So Virani and the rest of him, who is a constitutional lawyer, so he realizes that there's no way that they'll pass the smell test. It's just ramming this thing through.
Yeah, for sure. What I thought was really interesting was the YouTube guy, because one of the things that that I've been looking at this bill for quite a while now, and you can dig around at it and you can say this is bad and that is bad, and there's lots of bad about it. But what really scares me about it, and this is what I was saying to the YouTube guy, and sorry YouTube guy, I forget your name, was that all in all,
Yonda.
Was it?
Okay. Not Yoda, but Yonda.
Yeah. Okay. And was that if even in part this bill passes, because they'll have to amend this and do that, and I'm sure. But if in essence this passes, it puts a lot, like all of the onus, on platforms.
Yes,
YouTube,
it's all on there.
Rumble, X, Odyssey, I don't know, all those platforms. It will be on them to discern what's hateful, what's pornographic, whatever, and and there's penalties.
Sure, of course.
Big financial penalties.
They get it as much as the person that they accuse of.
So what will probably, this is my fear, and what what could happen, and what I feel like could probably happen, is these platforms will one by one shut down.
Yes,
because they cannot afford that. They couldn't afford just to do it, like the lawyers and everybody to figure out, is this okay? Is this post okay? How are they supposed to financially do that?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to hire even more and more people, which means the advertising. So he's just going to.
He's going to bankrupt.
He's going to
strangle.
Yeah, and
these platforms.
And they'll just say we're not going to operate in Canada.
Right. So there'll be no YouTube, no X, no in Canada, no Odyssey, no Rumble, any of these platforms. And it looks, the way I'm reading it is that even like Jason Levine has now his private membership, goes on his website, and it's a private membership, but that's still online information. So I think they can hit those too.
They can. Oh yeah, no, they'll hit that as well.
So they're going to come after all of these online
personal messages,
communication, because that's how they put it. It's communications, and they're going to basically bankrupt them. Mm-hmm. And they'll just shut down even before they go bankrupt. They'll just say, this is not worth it. Shut down, shut down. This is my fear. Call it a conspiracy theory or just a theory, because I don't know why they have to call everything a conspiracy. But that this could possibly happen. And then what will we have?
Yeah.
A state-run media
platform. Broadcasting.
Yeah. And that's my fear.
That is so. He kind of alluded it to his speech, and we'll have the link that you can listen to. But earlier in his speech, so there was a table to the right of us, and I sort of recognized some faces, but I know they were all lawyers. So that was the first table he went to. He had to shake all these hands of, they're all representing law firms.
I do have a little clip of that video. I can put that in there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe okay, people will piece through them, find out who they were.
Yeah.
So in his speech, he goes. Oh, he mentioned someone at that table saying, well, why don't you divide this bill in half? Meaning, talk about your Child on Harms Act and take all this Orwellian stuff out and have that debated. And then, Virani, what did he say? No, absolutely not. He wanted no business of doing it. That just shows you how...
He is scary,
yeah,
I'll tell you. He was scary. He was very, not just... adamant in supporting what he felt was right about his bill, but there was something very psychologically scary about that man. Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm not trying to just kind of go after him for the sake of go after him, but I'm going to show you some stuff when we edit through this, and you guys tell me, but watch it and you see what we saw, and I think he's whatever, projecting his own insecurity, his own anger onto Canadians, quite honestly. I think he's kind of a dangerous person. Now, the one thing that you said to me that, he's talking about this peace bond. He's mentioned it 2 to 3 times, at least twice, about it being like a peace bond and like a peace bond. And afterwards you said to me, there's nothing in that bill that says a peace bond. I thought, okay, I'll just check through. So I went online, which you can do, go online and get the bill. And then when you get something online, you can put in the search, like I want to see these words. Yep. And I put peace. And it said, keeping the peace, things like that. To keep the peace. And then I put bond, no word bond, and I put peace bond, nothing peace bond. So there's nothing in the bill. You are absolutely correct. There's nothing in the bill that says it is like a legal peace bond.
Correct.
It is not. It isn't. So he was kind of a liar.
Yeah, he was. He actually
they lied.
He misrepresented that bill several times. He said things weren't quite right. One of which is he kept going back to the Supreme Court of Canada's
definition of hate speech. And the Supreme Court of Canada doesn't have a definition of hate speech.
Is that right?
They never do. They never give a definition of anything because each case is in its unique experience. So if there's a case that goes to the Supreme Court and the allegation is hate speech, the Supreme Court will say, they would review the law and they'll say that's not the definition of hate speech. It's not hate speech. But they'll never clearly come out and say this is what hate speech is because every case is different. And that's what the Supreme Court is meant to do. It's meant to rule. It's the final ruling on anything, right? So they can't go by black and white a lot of times. They have to interpret, vote, and rule. So he misrepresented that several times. Going back to the peace bond, so he'd mentioned, because those lawyers mentioned, how can you charge people for a crime that they didn't commit, and how he preferenced that with him. He says, "Oh well, it'll just be a peace bond," which is not written. It's not written in there.
No.
Unless he's extrapolating, he goes, "Well, he'll go to somebody and say, well, we're going to put you in jail for life. We're going to charge you $50,000, but you know something? We'll give you a break. We'll give you a peace bond, but you can never go on social media for life." That's in his sick mind. Maybe that's what he might be thinking. But then he goes, "Oh, peace bonds are very hard to get." And I'm sorry, no. They hand them out like candy in courts, peace bonds. So he misrepresented everything, and he had a big chip on his shoulder.
That's the thing that scared me, that big chip on his shoulder, for sure.
Yeah. Because he mentioned 3 times, one about his own personal experience, being, although he never gave any specific examples, but he alluded himself as being a victim of hate 3 times in his life. So it was almost as if this was meant to be some revenge act without actually coming out and saying, well, this is what happened to me. But hey, you went to one of the prestigious schools in Canada, you graduated as a lawyer, and now you're the justice minister. So I'm not too sure how downtrodden things were for you, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, the peace bond thing was definitely a point of something very odd going on. Now, when he was also asked, and again, if you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. He was asked that, okay, so this is your party putting it through, and if your party is not in power, then the next party might take advantage or do something, And he said then, well, it's not political. It would be the judge that would be determining. It's not coming from the political parties who's having hate speech. It comes from the judge. And then he went on, almost like deranged, but he was like, and he has appointed, so far, he's so happy about it, 106 judges from the time he's been the minister, which has been not quite a year, because I think July.
He's at 8 months, basically.
So he's appointed 8 judges, and he's not stopping.
No.
He made that very clear.
No.
Don't believe me, go look at it and see what you guys think, hey? But he's not stopping. So 106 judges, even if he stops today, there's 106 judges appointed by him specifically, of the Liberal Party. What does that say to you? It says to me that this is pretty heavy-handed.
Oh, yeah. He's not going to appoint, he's appointing judges who have his dogma, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to run and appoint all kinds of conservative judges. That's another flaw.
Yeah, that's another big flaw.
Another big
Senate,
flaw
the
in
judicial system.
In whatever system of government we have. Now you know how it's so important for the states, how they say you elect your judges.
Yeah.
Here this is
they're appointed.
This is how you just keep perpetuating things.
You're appointed by possibly corrupt politician.
Yeah.
Well, and that's our judicial system that we're seeing is a mess.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that it's very, at least 2-tiered, if not more tiers.
Yeah, it's definitely 2-tiered for sure.
So, just the fact that the Liberal Party gets voted out doesn't mean our judicial system doesn't remain partisan.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you get a judge in, try to get him out. Once the judge gets in, how are you going to get that judge out?
I don't know. How do you get a judge out?
How you get a judge out? No, a lot of times they're in there till you retire.
Yeah.
So I mean, those judges will work up against the next government anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, at the same time, they'll protect the Liberals afterwards if there's corruption allegations.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a wicked system that we're in. It's
to say the least. It's a really rotten. So as I say, I'll put the links in the description and you guys watch it yourself. And we'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. I really felt that this is a man who's like kind of projecting his own personal anger and whatever from his own life onto using his position and projecting it, not just projecting it but using it against this country. And I don't appreciate that, to say the least. No. So that's C-63. It must not pass. And we just got to keep on saying no to this. I'm really happy to see there's a lot of people speaking. I actually saw Russell Brand speaking about it. Yeah. It's being spoken about. And people are just astonished that Canada is going down this path. Oh, yeah. Really astonished and scared for us.
It is. I tell everybody this man is a zealot for this. A zealot. I saw it in his face. He's a zealot. I mean, we've done one before, and I went up and talked to Sean Fraser.
Oh yeah, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So Sean Fraser had no problem talking. No. He knew where I was coming from. Yeah. We exchanged.
Yeah, he was quite happy to talk.
Yeah, this is my opinion, not your opinion, and that's what I've done it with Blair. I've done it with others, whether how they respond or not.
So you'll see, I'm going to, as I edit this, we're going to show you. So when I'm at the table, and we had lunch, and I live streamed quite a bit, but the sound wasn't that great. But then I filmed some, lunch was over, his speech was over, and he was doing like a little bit of a handshake photo op-y thing. And Derek's like going right up, and he's going to ask him a question. And you weren't aggressive by any means. You just went, and you'll see it, because I filmed it, so I'm not lying. But again, if I'm misinterpreting, by all means say. But I'm filming, and you're waiting your turn, and the ladies, they're doing their thing, and then something happens that the security of the hotel or RCMP. There was a bunch of security that either recognizes you from wherever, tyrant patrolling, or they just get a vibe like, this guy's not going to go and ask him. He's too big, he's too, whatever. They did not want you near him.
Yeah. I think they recognize me.
They probably recognize you, but we don't know, what, but they said, and you can see on my video now. We'll also link. Derek was live streaming that as well, so we'll put this bit together for you. But you see that they're coming on their phone. Got their headset. And we got to get Virani away. Whatever they're saying, but they scoot Virani away. Like he's going fast. He's not even like, okay, well, I'll just say hi to the next person. Hi. Like Sean Fraser was totally fine, and we're all just milling about.
Actually, Sean Fraser probably met he stayed. He talked to everyone in that lunch.
Yeah, I think so.
That was like 60
so
people.
Not that we're saying Sean's the greatest, but he was fine. Yeah. But Virani was definitely, was scared off. Whether it was he himself or the security was like, you gotta go. So he scoots away like he's walking fast. He's not even shaking hands with his friends saying, oh good, thanks for coming. Nope, they got him out of there. Well, you follow him, not aggressively, but obviously following him. Again, I'm filming that, and you're live streaming it. And you're like, Mr. Virani, and it's on your live stream, but you can say what you said to him.
Well, I wanted to ask him several questions, one of which is, as a constitutional lawyer, did you not think that this bill doesn't match the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? That was one. The other thing too, and I got that question in, was
if people watch, and we had it on one of our Black Flags before, what he said going into getting the Emergency Act, I mean, it was complete lies. And actually, some of the things that he said actually would be hate speech.
He's calling us arsonists.
Yeah, if I reversed his own bill, I'd be able to charge him with hate speech. So that's what I did say. So it was funny.
But didn't you say, wasn't it about Trudeau saying those things, or him?
I said him.
Oh, okay.
And then I also mentioned, well, what about Trudeau's hate speech?
Okay.
And what I was alluding to there is obviously the misogynist, the racist, blah, blah, blah. I said, does that not count as hate speech? The other great thing that Trudeau said is old stock Canadians. What are they doing here in the country? That was another one. That all these things I was going to engage with him if he was
willing.
If he was willing and as intellectual as he is to defend his own bill to a citizen, then these are the questions that I would ask.
Yeah.
So I go up. I think I was fourth in line.
Yeah.
So there's some of them obviously were liberals. Like the Indian woman before me, she was such a big liberal, and she took her selfie, and they were talking. I couldn't exactly hear what they were talking about. Then she came back and showed me the picture. She says, "Oh, does this look good, or can you take one for me?" And then, as I was second in line, I did notice the two guys come, and they had earpieces, so I think they were RCMP. So then I go, and then he just turns and goes. So as I'm following him, I felt a guy grabbing both my elbows, and I'm live. So I kick back, and then he says, "You're not asking him any questions." And I go, "Why can't I? Everyone else is." So I don't know how. Like I went like this because I didn't really know. He never identified himself. I don't know who's. So I just carried on. I said, "Don't touch me," and then I carried on, and I'm filming him as he's going. And then at the end, I think it was a combination of RCMP and hotel securities because they never identified themselves.
No.
None of them. So I meant. I can make a big deal of that. You never identified yourself. Don't try to put me in a chicken wing. I don't know who you were. So they walked me out, and they said I can't go back to the Royal York ever again. Big loss.
Banned for life.
Big loss. Big loss. Any hotel that supports the Liberals that much, I'll never.
They definitely support the Liberals.
Oh,
Holy cow!
how many?
They have so many big events.
This was. I think that this was the 10th event that we were at.
Wow.
There was a UN luncheon we went to. Well, the biggest one obviously was Trudeau and Zelensky.
And what's her name from Italy?
Italy? Oh, yes, that was before that too. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So
we've been there.
So yeah, I say I'll put this, I'll edit this into this video in whatever manner I end up doing. But that was quite a trip, and what was so cool, I had been filming a bit. I was filming live, and it was like maybe after the lunch or like dessert or something, I forget. But anyway, I excuse myself and I just wander around, still doing a live, and I pop outside, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and what do I see? The Tyrant Patrollers just decked out.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just felt so, my heart just was like, wow, look at that. I was just blown away by that.
We
and
did
you
basically
had seen
half
that
a front,
until
yeah.
you got kicked
I
out.
got two,
and then
yeah.
you saw them like, oh my God, look at this.
They almost covered the whole of Front Street,
I know.
from York all the way across the bay.
Yeah, and so they just bannered up as they do, and yeah, it just made me feel really proud and really, like, it was just so cool. So we joined, of course, we walked around and joined them, and we Tyrant patrolled the rest of it, but you definitely got him out of there real fast. Yeah. I mean, okay, so you took a hit for the team. You can't ever go to the Royal York, but who cares?
But it just goes to show, like, that's what these empire events are about. So it's supposed they say, oh, we're here to create discussion, right? So they're sort of like a think tank. They are still left of center. There's like the actual people that are in there, but they do, like he said, well, we're here for contrarian views. This is what they want to create. So why would not a minister want to debate me on it? Like, get it out. Yeah. If you're so proud of the bill you think would work, why not debate me?
That's what I say. I mean, as much as Sean Fraser is whatever, like, he was quite willing to discuss it with you.
Yeah.
And
his policy, like, we totally disagree
civilly,
on housing, but he was
but
at least representing his half, and he listened to what I said.
Yeah, for sure. But Virani, man, he was running like a chicken.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
I don't know what they said to him, but holy cow, he took off. Like I say, you'll see that in my video.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm with you. I just want to get the YouTube guys, whatever you call it, contact info.
You got it on film because I don't quite know.
Yeah, I'm filming.
How my camera is right now.
I'm filming, yeah.
That's so right now.
Oh, okay. Give it a try.
No, just take one more.
Lighting's not too. Lighting. Wow. Mr. Brian?
Okay, I guess that was that. We told him to skedaddle. I got a freedom fighter. Wanted to ask him a question.
Did you hear that? Did you see what that RCMP guy did to me?
Well, I saw little bits.
Yeah.
So what happened?
He grabbed me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm being escorted.
Oh, are you?
Freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's weird. Why? What'd you do?
I wanted to ask a question.
You're not allowed to ask a question?
No.
Wow. That's weird. All right, well,
You,
it was nice to meet you anyway.
that was nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was
Follow,
good to meet you.
yeah. Sure, we got that.
And Derek's being escorted out.
Are you with your detention?
Yes, yeah, I just ate.
Are you with the gentleman that was there?
I met him, yes.
No, you were with him, sorry?
I met him.
Were you with him?
Why?
The gentleman that we were just speaking with, just...
Right, yeah, I just met him here.
Okay. No, but like, where,
Why?
you called him?
Why am I being outside?
I was just asking. Just
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking you, why am I being
Just looking for a
outside?
question. I just saw you guys
Yeah.
talking, that's
Yeah.
all. Just looking for context, that's
Oh,
all.
okay. All right, thanks. All right. Just looking for contacts. I don't know what the heck that means. All right, well, here we are. So Derek got thrown out, and I'm being asked about whether I know him or I came with him. Crazy, eh? Anyway, there you go. That was the event. Okay, I'll post this up in a bit. Okay, bye everybody. Freedom. I'll be so proud of that side.
What's that?
I'll be so proud of that.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. The lighting's not good.
Yeah.
Lighting's... Wow.
Yeah. You didn't even
Mr. Brian. Oh,
yeah. You're not following him. Back up.
why not? I can ask questions.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. Mr. Virani, what you said about the truckers, that's considered hate speech under this new law. Hi. Good, how are you?
My name is Anthony. I'm
Yeah.
with Hotel Security.
Okay.
Okay, so I need you to step outside with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you hear that, Lynn? Did you see what that RCMP guy did to me?
I saw little bits.
Yeah.
So what happened?
He grabbed me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm being escorted out, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Freedom. Yeah.
Mine wasn't bad. You got to keep in mind, I had some guy holding my arm as I was trying to film. But yeah.
that one. So that was really cool. But we do have to keep this conversation going. We do have to continue to say no to that bill. Write your MPs. Like I say this all the time. Not that I write mine all the time because I never get an answer. But we do have to keep piling up their email inboxes. Write them. Do whatever. Let them know. No bill C-63.
No.
And if and this whole we already have laws
There's
that
more than enough
cover all of this stuff. That if there's child pornography, whether it's online or on somebody's kitchen table, you can't have child pornography and you will be in big trouble.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I mean, again, I've talked about this before in the last one, but that just so annoys me. These double, triple issue bills, And so he gets to camouflage his hate speech bill in with this child pornography thing. But we also have laws in place about hate speech. If a crime is committed and a judge feels that it is motivated by hate, not hate speech, but motivated by speech, then that comes into the discernment of the judge as to, okay, what's this guy up to? And there's laws about genocide, and all of these things are all still part of our laws. So he's sneaking some other crap like the sort of Minority Report type of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
That the snitch bill. I can tell on somebody anonymously. That's all in there. So we've just got to keep on the pressure on these MPs to say, do not let this even come close.
Oh, yeah.
And the Conservatives, you better fight this.
Exactly. And the other thing about that bill is you have to pay who so-called is the victim. That's the problem. So you know how you have all these NGOs, all these leftist organizations? Well, they got money behind them. So they're going to go through everything and complain, oh, this has hurt my speech.
Yeah.
So,
and this is all retroactive as well.
Yeah.
So you can't even okay, I'll right my wrongs and behave myself. No, it could have been, yesterday or 20 years ago, and they'll get you. Yeah. It's a really horrible bill, and really, if it goes through, I actually will be surprised, but he'll try and get it through, even if he has to do it, whittle it down, whittle it down until at least he gets something in there. But
this is us to do. Can I make a challenge?
Yeah.
I don't know how far videos go, but any professor of laws, any major lawyer, where are you? I need to hear you. Where are you? I challenge you.
Yeah.
Honestly, because if this goes through and I don't hear anything from these lawyers, all these civil or the so-called civil liberty lawyers, any major law firm in Canada should be protesting this
absolutely.
bill.
I know the Canadian,
they're all solid.
The constitutional, the Canadian constitutional something. Again, I'll put that link in there too. But they're one of the ones that went after the Emergency Act. Those, that group. But they have been.
For sure. That I'm glad. But I meant this goes right down to. I should be hearing from professors on this.
Well, Bruce Pardy is one.
Bruce Pardy's one, but we've got to have a lot more than this.
A lot more.
So let's just see how much.
Yeah, let's see how it goes out there.
Yeah, let's see.
And conservative. I did hear Michael Cooper answer David Krayden's question, because David Krayden's totally, if you don't know him, again, I'll try and put that link in as well. But he's an Ottawa-based journalist and independent journalist, and he had Michael Cooper, who's an MP, conservative MP from Alberta, and he asked Michael, would the Conservatives be fighting this bill? And Michael said yes. I mean, he didn't kind of, we're going to go at it, but he did say yes. So we have to hold them to this as well.
Big time.
He's a lawyer. Larry Brock's a lawyer. Now I know they're really busy with all the scandalous corruption, and that's keeping them busy. And like you say, we should be thriving. Instead, these politicians and people and they're spending our time their time and our time just digging at the rot instead of us thriving. So so there's all of that. I don't know if we want to talk about this now, or maybe we just talk a little bit about it and set it up for another talk. But the Iranian president, Rasa.
Yeah, I mean, let's tee it up.
All right.
For the next one.
So you know what kind of killed me about that, to use the word killed, what I found kind of funny was when a few of the ones that I saw mainstream media were reporting his death, they said Ibrahim Rasa killed helicopter crash. And I thought, why would they say killed, not just died? It was
Or died in a helicopter
crash. But they said killed, as if someone killed him.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's really odd to me. It's kind of like, that's not really the truth.
Well, stirring the pot.
Yeah, stirring the pot.
Like I mentioned, and the media's willing participants in this is constantly stirring the pot.
Constantly.
They want.
Yeah, they're definitely.
They want to turn this into just tribal everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Very unfortunately, and that's another topic of conversation we'll get into one day. But that his death, we'll see what comes of that. And again, we'll talk about that maybe at length. I did go down yesterday and film some Iranians down there that were celebrating his demise. And that in itself is a strange thing, because I wouldn't want to think that as human beings that we want to celebrate anybody's death, no matter how bad. However, that big however comes in. This man and his regime have committed such atrocities that is it any wonder that people would be celebrating that he's now gone?
Exactly.
And whether by death or in jail or whatever, I think they kind of have a right to celebrate that he's gone. Now, again, we're just, maybe I shouldn't continue this, but, Iran is a huge player in what could be a big problem.
Yeah, they'll definitely be involved.
So I think we'll talk about that another time, because that's a big, long conversation.
A
We've
lot of
already
history
been going
involved
for
with
almost
that,
40 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of history involved.
A lot of history.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I
we
said to
go through
somebody. I'm like, there's thousands of years of history here, and and we got to sort it out. And that thousands of years of history that they've been kind of dealing with over there is now here. And has been here for quite a while, but it is now really here, and all of this is bubbling up. So, we can't just sort of turn our heads away from that.
No, not at all.
Do we want to talk about? We will talk about that at length, where, you can inform people or whatever. But so then, do we want to talk about what we're doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? So, it's an
We
event.
don't know how it'll go, but
We don't know how it go. So Brian Peckford is speaking. So
Brian Peckford. So he's
so
our
he's
last signatory live that signed the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and his lawsuit is still ongoing, is it not?
It's still ongoing. So I'm sure he's going to update on that. Give a little bit of history on how. Well, he always loves to talk about how that charter was formed.
Yeah, he does love to talk about that.
I'm
but
just
we're going to go
and
be at an event with that he's the guest speaker.
Yeah.
And that will be really interesting.
It would be.
So, yeah.
I just really want to, hopefully we have 5 minutes. I just really want to ask him one question. If we really look at the country as a whole, and aside from the election, if we really wanted to make stronger changes, how do we challenge the Confederation? And that's what I kind of run down to him. I said, just say, just hypothetical situations, because it's never happened before. Suppose 3 provinces say, listen, the federal government, the way it is right now, is corrupt, it's rot to the core. CCP, foreign influence is in there.
our province can't work with it. So we're going to do a referendum on our people to say, do we leave the Confederation?
Mm.
And I asked him, is that hypothetical? Is it even possible of coming? And would that then force the constitutional change that we want? And he even meant it like that. You hear him several times talking about, well, we need constitutional change. One being, of course, the Bill of Rights and the Charter to make that unescapable. Right? Because there is loopholes, and Trudeau's used
close up
everything.
those loopholes. Yeah.
Close it all and make that solid. But how do we get to that point?
Right.
Right. So yeah. So hopefully
I think
it
it'll
should
be
be
interesting.
interesting.
Hopefully, I will be able to, or we'll film some of it, maybe live stream some of it. I think I'll probably just film it as opposed to live stream, but we'll see. You know, it
We'll
just
see how it goes from
happens
play by ear.
as we get there. So that'll be exciting. And there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I do want to say that June 1st, both of us will be there. A few others, you know, but I will be there. You will be there. I think Helena's coming and Jeremy Glass is coming, and a few of us will be up in Creemore to participate in a fundraiser for Dan Hartman. Dan Hartman is putting together that. Now again, I don't want to say out of turn, so but this my understanding is that Dan is putting together a lawsuit against the government of Canada, a wrongful death long lawsuit on the death of his son Sean. You can find Dan on X, on Twitter, at Answers for Sean. I think it's the number 4, Answers for Sean. And we will be up there as a fundraiser. Tamara Leach will be there as well, and participating in that and helping him to raise funds. So even if, I think that there's still tickets available, but even if there aren't, you can watch it live stream and obviously donate to this cause. This is a huge cause, not only to, you know, one man who lost his son and his heart is broken, 100%. And it could be you or me or any of us, and there's many more than just Dan out there. And of course that's you know, the most important part of this, but there's also the important part that he's willing to sue this government on what, maybe you can help me out here, but you know, what has obviously become a death sentence. Yes. Whether they're dead or not, like have died, sure. But you know, sorry to be blunt like that, but you know, there's so many injured out there, and people that have lost, like from, you know, to death, you know, and this is a huge problem that we've got to figure a way through.
Well, I know, and there's no precedent for this because this is what's happening first. So all those drug companies basically have immunity from what the government has. Well, we told the government they had to go ahead and do it. So you're having to sue the government then, or do you sue them? And the government, of course, will hide behind emergency, this and that. So it's going to be a long haul.
Yeah, it's going to be a long haul,
but what helps is like AstraZeneca pulling theirs.
Yeah.
There's rumors that Moderna is going to pull theirs in the upcoming weeks, or maybe even this week.
It's new to me. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. But AstraZeneca definitely pulled it. They're black and white: heart attacks, strokes, blood clots, irregularities. Is how they coined it.
We just have to be careful what we say on here.
Oh yeah, that's right. About the punch.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I meant.
And I forgot that.
Yeah, you forgot. Yeah, so we gotta be careful about the punch on this network.
Yeah.
But it might come to, you know, looking at media, looking at actual doctors, looking at the pharmacies and starting there, and then they're going to yell and scream. And hopefully you drag the government down into it. But all of this will be precedent setting.
Yeah, very much so. So, you know, as always, our heart goes out to Dan and his pain that he's suffered, and all the other people that have suffered through this horrendous experiment.
Yeah.
So there's that. Was there another thing I want to say? I don't know. We'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But watch for, you know, Derek's usually running after some tyrant or another, you know, sometimes, and often it's last minute. Oh, maybe you want to talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday
I do want to talk about that.
Sure. So yesterday in Brampton, so it was a holiday. So the federal government decided not to
do anything
That
really
just
special.
so pissed me off. Victoria Day, and they decide to have a press conference.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So, several ministers actually, and big, high-profile ministers decided to meet with Patrick Brown in Brampton.
Patrick Brown's the mayor of
The
Brampton.
mayor of Brampton. So the
Who
unique.
also ran for the leadership of the Conservative Party.
He did. He was one of those ones.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a trail of corruption, alleged corruption, following him, years back. The thing with Brampton is Brampton's apparently the capital for car theft, more car theft. So you had Dominic LeBlanc, you had Krista Freeland, of course. You had Virani, who we were just talking about. Virani there as well. And
was there someone else, a woman from Brampton?
yes, Kamal Kaur, who's a Brampton West MP.
Okay.
And then another MP, which was Sobera
Right.
from Vaughan.
Okay.
So we had some pretty heavy hitters. So they were doing this press conference, and it was at City Brampton. So again, these things are last minute. Boom, I got there. So
Tyrant Patrol.
So there was only
sirens.
only 3 of us shut down that press
That was
conference.
very cool. Good for you guys.
They got some of it in there. We knew that they were definitely planning to have pictures in the garden in front of Brampton. That was cancelled. They ran out there pretty quick. There was just 3 of us.
It was
so
very cool. Very cool. Good for you, Mike. Good for you, Crystal.
yes, Mike.
Derek. Yeah, you guys
Crystal.
did a great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, we were proud of you.
Yeah.
So that happened. Yeah, I say that annoyed me. Here's Victoria Day. This is a Canadian statutory holiday, which means we're all, everything's shut down basically.
Yeah.
The government shuts down. The schools are shut down. We're shut down to celebrate Victoria's birthday.
Yeah, basically.
Right?
Queen Victoria.
And now Queen Victoria from England. Now that's our past, a good hunk of us of Canada, and that's our history. One piece of our history, a fairly big chunk of our history. So why would they choose Victoria Day to have a press conference about auto theft? I mean, if it was something like, oh my God, it's Victoria Day, but oh well, we have to talk about this because it's so important. No, auto theft. Auto theft's been going on for quite a while. Yeah. But I just thought, this is a way of another way to erase our history.
I think so, and
that's how I felt to me.
Well, my whole point being there was, you're investigating auto theft. Well, how about we investigate liberal theft?
Yeah.
Which I meant you can.
There's a lot of investigations
I could talk that
should
for
be
hours.
happening, like
hours.
arson.
Yeah.
About church burning. How about a lot of investigations?
The Arrive Can app, money to Chinese development.
There's
banks.
so much. So you've been pretty busy running after those tyrants, and that's great. And all the tyrant patrollers out there, some that are actually out on the street like you and I, and the rest, but all the rest of you that do it via whatever ways you do it, it's terrific. And there's tons to talk about, as always, and we run out of time a little bit, but because we don't want to make this too long, I do want to kind of say the importance of rallies. I think are still important. I think rallies are still important to show the public that we're still here, to show the government that we're still here, that we're still friendly, we're still peaceful. I happened to be, Saturdays ended up kind of a funny day for me because I wasn't really going to go out. I was feeling a little bit like I'm kind of done, I was tired of. Anyway, but no, I go down to Lakeshore and Parkside in Toronto and do the rally thing, and we got horns a honking, and I live stream that, and then I decide to just head out and you drove me to the subway, right? I get on the subway and I decide, well, I'll go see what's going down at the U of T Palestinian encampment. Sure. I don't even know what to call them, but these encampments. So I did. It's very, very quiet. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I wander through Queen's Park and I see a few of the stragglers from the it's probably most of them, the Queen's Park rally members, that they've been doing this every Saturday since, really early on, a long time. And there they were. And so I had a little chat with them, and, like, hats off to them that they keep that up. You guys are doing that. Shelburne's doing it. People are still rallying and still protesting.
Absolutely.
Because our freedoms have not been secured.
No.
That's why we are out there. Our freedoms, our rights have not been secured.
Well, they're even at risk.
They are at risk, like this Bill C-63.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you say, they don't even need an emergency act anymore. They just clamp you right down.
Yeah.
And we've got these 2-3 tier judicial system and policing. We've got a mess. And that brings me to the point of another conversation perhaps we'll have. So I'll have to write these down. What was the other one?
Iranian president?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But it's communism.
Yes.
We need to talk about communism. And I can't even believe that at this point in my life that I'm even feeling a need to talk about it. But it's prevalent. It's bubbling up to that's now on the surface.
It is. I mean, I would even think it's even at the grade school level now.
Yeah.
Because it's certainly in the high schools now.
Yeah.
Which I definitely saw, and it's been at the universities for quite some time.
Yeah.
It's
to me, this Bill 63 screams communism.
It screams. Yeah.
So I think I think we should devote a black flag to that in itself. Anything else?
No, that's it. But
You think?
that communism, Marxism, and what's happening in here, that's a good hour right there.
Yeah, that's a really big one.
I'll even do some extra study on that.
Good. Some homework.
So make sure.
But obviously keep an eye on us together, separately. We kind of do our thing, whatever. But tomorrow we will be heading out down to
Brian Peckford's
event.
Conference.
And that should be really, I think that's going to be really cool. Really kind of cool. And hopefully he has an answer to your question.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him about the notwithstanding clause because I know nothing about that.
Yes,
I do have to research a little bit.
I'm hoping that's one of his discussion points.
Yeah, so we'll talk to him, and I say keep an eye on us. We've got the summer coming, so we've got a few things coming up. June we will be in Ottawa.
Yes, actually, it's important. It's very important. We actually had a really good 4 days for the last week of sitting.
The last couple of years we've been for the last couple of days of the
Liberals
sitting.
try to hammer through a lot of bills. Mm-hmm. It's really important for us to have a presence there for that. Yeah, 100%.
So that's become kind of an annual thing now. It's unbelievable that we even say annual about these things. But so that's the last day of the sitting is June 21st. So we'll probably be there a day or two before. Yeah. And let our presence be known.
Let our presence be known. Just do various stuff around there.
Yeah. We'll be doing stuff. So hey, get ready, Ottawa, and we'll be coming in. Maybe we can even get Shelby to come with us.
Maybe Shelby.
We'll see.
Have a press conference too.
Maybe at a press conference. You never know.
Too, yeah.
Days to get yourself ready.
Yeah.
So. What else? So that's June. That's pretty soon. That's coming up pretty soon. Yeah. And summer we'll be doing whatever.
Well, the summer might be pretty interesting. So, obviously, should I tell about Quebec?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to come in to hit some of these ministers in Quebec.
Montreal, come on.
Now, although we have a year and more for vacation time, before the next election.
Right.
This will be the last summer that they'll have before.
For their barbecue campaigning.
Right. So you watch, the summer will be very active. They'll be going all over the place looking for votes. So the Tyrant Patrol, I can see it's being very busy this week. And not to mention everybody else this look, they'll have like a Liberal barbecue. Go in there.
Go in there, man.
Yeah, go in there.
Yeah.
We've done
Do what you can.
Yeah.
We are always polite.
Yeah.
And the Tyrant Patrol itself, like when they're out, protesting, they're still polite, assertive and aggressive, but we're never rude or nasty. Yeah. We continue to maintain a peaceful protest. And so there is barbecue season, so keep an eye out for that. There is a ton to talk about, really, but another one is that, June 24th, there's a by-election in Toronto, in the Toronto St. Paul's riding. Now, anybody who knows Toronto or doesn't, but I'll tell you, it is like if Toronto, if you say it's like, kind of this big, the middle of Toronto is Toronto St. Paul's.
Yeah,
this is like the old part, not the old part like downtown, but like the old part of Toronto. And I'm astounded in a way that it has mostly been a liberal riding. When I looked at it
four
from,
elections
for
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
they've had a couple of conservatives in there, but mostly been liberal. But for the most part, it's a fairly high end area.
It is, yes.
So I don't really get it, but I think we, conservatives, hey, if you're listening to this, you got to let us know this stuff, because it seems to be you're not being very market savvy.
Oh no,
at all.
They're very poor marketing wise.
So
yeah,
we'll see what we can do to help you. And
the seat's up for grabs. I mean, you had Carolyn Walker.
Bennett,
sorry, Carolyn, because I knew Carolyn Walker.
Yeah.
Carolyn Bennett, who was
a little wacky.
And she was in charge of the mental health portfolio.
Yeah.
I mean, she did nothing in that writing. So I mean, it's for the keeping. I mean, you got to try to get a liberal seat away from them.
Yeah.
Everything makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, we got to.
Every
Yeah,
seat
exactly.
that falls.
And Toronto is the biggest city in Canada. It's the financial district of Canada, and it is so liberal, heavy-handed. We've got Chrystia Freeland here. We have Virani. We have Marcy Ian. We have I can't even think of them all, but we've got tons of them in here.
I know that's the sad thing about it is you're just out west, right? So if you live out west, like in this area right here, like 20-minute drive, 50% of the cabinet is in this downtown area. 50% of the decision making
is right
is all right in Toronto.
Yeah, and so we run around like little chickens. We got Bill Blair just up the street here.
Yeah.
We got a couple of like backbenchers like right here.
Yeah.
Then Chrystia Freeland, not too far away. Arif Virani, Justice Ministries over there. Marcy Ian's the Minister of Equity.
Yeah.
So we do our best to kind of get at them. We did a little tyrant patrol in Rosedale, which is right near where Chrystia Freeland lives. Like it's just like in her riding, and I did a little live stream on that. That's gotten just over 23,000 views, which is like holy cow, people are interested. So we've really got to get into Toronto somehow.
Yeah, well, I thought that day was going to be much more hostile.
Oh, I did too.
We had hostility, but I was just surprised how many people were on
I
our
thought we were
side.
going to get beaten up.
Yeah, get her out of here. Like a lot of people wanted her out.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, we've got to get into this Toronto St. Paul's. I was thinking of doing it yesterday, but my day ended up bigger than I had planned. But I want to get into that area and just kind of show everybody around, take them on a little tour. This is what Toronto St. Paul's riding is, and do what I can do. I don't know, but it's up to Torontonians to actually cast the vote, but it's up to the Conservatives or the PPC or an independent, but to get in there and start campaigning like crazy.
I know. Well, although Olivia, the mayor doesn't have really anything to do with federal politics, but there's some big houses in St. Paul. And you got 9% increase on your property taxes, 23% on those carbon taxes.
Yeah. There's huge houses
there you go.
in that area.
There's your talking points right there. Affordability.
So, there's that. So, I don't know. I think we should maybe wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
I'm going to put some stuff in the description, some links for the Viva Frei's thing and the Empire Club that we were talking
Pressure
about.
on Bill C-63.
Bill C-63. No.
You cannot go a week without talking about it.
No, we just can't. No. And theylied.ca, let's get that, out there more and more. I've been wearing my They Lied hat. No, did you bring me?
Yes, I got.
Okay,
I forgot the other one.
I got another hat. Yay! Yeah. So there's that, and just keep an eye out for us. To say tomorrow we'll be out and about, so keep an eye out for that. Freedom, everybody.
Freedom.
That's it, I think. All right. See you guys. Wait, you're not on yet. Freedom, now you're on.
Freedom, everyone. Freedom.
Okay, so I'm back here in the back alley with Derek.
Yeah.
And, well, whether I put this before or after, we'll see. I'll edit it through, but we'll see. But we're going to talk to Derek about what happened while we were in the Royal York. So I'm going to turn this around so I'm not doing all this holding the phone. All right, so, Derek.
So,
You and I, were at the Virani luncheon. At the Royal York, where he was telling everyone, espousing his great Bill C-64. C-64, yeah. C-63.
63.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got the number wrong.
Is
I've
the-
said it enough times, but Bill C-63. So we must all be vigilant about that bill. I think it sounds extremely scary, very dangerous, dangerous to our freedom of speech, dangerous to all the platforms that
100%.
we put our things up, YouTube, all of them, Rumble, everything, all of those platforms are going to be subject to this bill. So we sat and we were very nice. We were good people. We had lunch, and then when it was the question period done, he was accepting photo op, I guess, more of the photo op, shake hands, maybe a question or something. But they saw you, and that frightened them.
That definitely frightened me.
You can take it from there.
Okay, well, here, I'll do a quick context. So
Yeah.
it wasn't hosted by him, but it was hosted by the Empire Club of Canada. And the Empire Club of Canada, well, you know, they fashion themselves as a think tank, but for debate. You know, they have these events where they speak, and there's supposed to be debate after. But I will say this though, like there was people on our side there. There was people definitely against that bill that were there. Even people from the big social media hubs, they did not want that bill passed. But let's go. So we had dinner, we had this, we had the lunch. So he ends his speech. People are lining up, taking pictures. So I guess I moved pretty quick. I think I was probably about the fifth. So as I became the second, that's when I leaned over to you and I said, "Oh, here comes the bodyguards." So all the RCMP guys came in.
And I was filming at the time, so as I say, I will put this up either before you'll see it, or maybe after this you'll see it.
I have to
anyway.
watch my live because I was holding my camera and then people were in front of me, so I don't know what people will see.
Interesting.
So I'll look at that tonight. So as soon as I come up second, he darts to his left, like he moves. So I'm following him, and I remember saying, "Mr. Virani, I just have a couple of questions, right?" And then at that time, I had felt two hands on my elbows, and they were pulling my elbows back, like trying to put me in a chicken wing, right? So I just kept
chicken wing.
So I just kept going, and then he goes. So I was free, and then he was going up the hallway to get out, and you know, I asked him, "Mr. Virani, what you said during the trucker protest in Ottawa, what you said in the House of Commons, judging from what you said today, that's hate speech."
So you did get to say that, whether he heard
I did
it
get
or
to
not,
say that.
you
So I
said
did
it.
get on my
Okay,
live, and
very
I was
cool.
close enough that he heard it, right?
Okay.
So as I was following him, then that's when those four other guys came in. They kind of blocked me off, and I don't know how many words, maybe six.
Wow.
6 or 8, I don't know.
Really?
So then we get to the table to get my coat, and then that's when they kind of really closed in on me, and I turned my live off. So I really don't know what hit my live, what not. But two were really close to me. One was in front, one was behind, and they said, "It's time for you to leave." So I'm walking out. I mean, there wasn't even couldn't even put a piece of paper between our arms. They're like right in there. And then they took me, I walked out the front door. So, and they said I'm never welcome back for my whole life at the Royal York.
For your whole life?
For my whole life at the Royal York, I cannot go back.
Wow, I didn't
So,
know that.
I think it was
life.
going out. I think it was a combination
Good thing
of their.
you're not 12.
No, not 12.
You don't have that.
Them saying that, I don't know. I don't
my
know if it was
God.
a combination of the two RCMP guys and their own hotel security. I don't know. They didn't identify themselves. They didn't identify themselves when they grabbed me. So
Really?
we'll see. I mean, you can't grab somebody and not identify who you are, and then try to put me in a chicken wing. That doesn't work. So they never identified themselves. So I don't know. I'll talk to a few people about it.
Wow, your whole life. Now that's
my
news
whole life
to me.
I can't go into the Royal
Life
York.
imprisonment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Banned from the Royal York.
Banned
for
from the
life.
Royal York Hotel. Well, that's big.
That
I mean,
is
it's
big.
one thing to be escorted out, but banned for life.
Yeah.
Holy. I
So-
think you win the prize.
Yeah.
on the
And the sound was really bad in
in that room. I don't know if you know, it was really bad.
The which?
The sound. Including his speech, the sound was really, really light. So I'm hoping people got enough off my live that they could
well, I
follow
say
what
I
was
did some
happening.
live and I took some film, but as I say, I was filming, hoping I'd get your question to Virani, and then you were whisked away. So I do have that, and then as you'll see on my video, that they come up and ask me, do I know you? If I met you, like, who am I?
Yeah.
And I asked, said, well, why? Why do you need to know? Like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And they said, well, it's just for context.
Really?
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, and I walk away. And then, I filmed a little bit and said goodbye to my people there on the film, and then I left.
Yeah.
And wasn't that exciting to see the Tower Patrollers when you walked out the door?
Oh, it was. And some of them were watching the live, so they knew, like, Aubrey,
They knew you were...
Miss T was watching the live, so,
okay.
so a few knew what was happening, so they were waiting for me to come out.
Oh.
But I want to go back to it. He
Yeah.
blatantly lied in that video many times.
Yeah.
There's nothing about a peace bond in there. It's arrest. It's arrest. There's nothing about a peace. Like, he
We're going to have
blatantly
to
lied.
go through that.
And the other thing that really concerns me is, well, I'm appointing the judges, I'm appointing this, I'm appointing that. It's all on his moral authority. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Th-
Like you
this guy-
said, so far he's appointed 106 judges,
Yeah.
and he's not stopping. He was very adamant. I'm just going to go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm appointed judges. We're not going to have our judicial system, our courts
No.
backed up. Well, who
No,
are
no.
those judges?
Liberal
Party appointees?
Yeah.
That's frightening
That's-
as heck.
Super
frickin' frightening.
And you said it plain and simple. What you said today, what you wrote down, he's dangerous.
He's
absolutely
dangerous.
This guy's a dangerous ideologue.
Yeah.
He is dangerous. He's not stopping. He's a little tyrant. He's a little traitor.
Yeah.
You should, I hope it was on my live. You should see the sheer look of when he looked at me, which was great. Like, I got really, like, he really, really hates me.
Yeah, I don't think I got that, but darn.
He doesn't want debate. And if you watch the live,
He ran like a little chicken.
he ran like a little chicken.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with the empires. He said it.
And no
in his-
offense to chickens.
Yeah. Like both the. Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, the host was very left. You could tell that he's very left. But he did state the empire's purpose, which was debate. He said that many times. He says, we are the forum for debate, right?
Yeah.
There was no debating.
He has
there.
had conservatives as well. Like they do a full
So
scope of
so
people.
there was no debate there today.
Oh no, not
It
with
was
you
his
anyway.
way. It was his way or the highway,
Highway.
and he made that very clear.
Absolutely, he did.
Very, very clear.
Well, that was
and he never really
interesting.
the questions. We submitted questions, but none of that was read, which means most of the questions were from our side. If they never read any of the questions,
Yeah, really.
the people in there was a table of liberals. I know there was a table of lawyers. We never did get a chance to meet with them, but
Yeah. But what I found really interesting, but kind of not uplifting isn't the right word, but kind of whatever word I'll find. But the people that we were sitting with, the guy from YouTube, the guy from the other company, and the other, like, they were concerned.
they were concerned.
They were concerned. They weren't just liberal
No.
supporters.
They were young
They
30s.
were young
They're
people
young
that
30s,
were concerned about this policy and how it would affect their companies and the whole online business.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased, and we actually shared who we were.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen too often.
No.
Because when we go incognito, we don't share
No, we don't share anything.
too much about who we are, but we
But
did
they-
with them.
they had
We gave
interest
our
in speaking to
cards.
us. Yeah, they had interest in speaking to us.
Yeah, and I got that YouTube guy's email address. So,
good.
So that's kind of cool.
That's kinda
So, well, congratulations, banned from the Royal York for life.
For life.
Sorry, Helena, you're not going to the Royal York for no. Sorry, no
It's
more.
old and it stinks anyway, so I would never go in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll say goodbye.
Freedom.
Yes.
There we
Freedom,
go.
everybody.
Stay strong.
All right. Always choose freedom.
Freedom.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.